So Kell BROOK stops Amir in the 6th round in their highly anticipated grudge match at the Manchester Arena on Sky Sports box office. The fight itself lived up to expectations, in my opinion. Both guys, have been back and forth for 10, 11 years now talking about this fight. I remember that ringside interview both guys did on Sky Sports, when they had that back and forth, and that's been played so many times over the years. And I gave up talking about this fight 5 years ago. I thought it would never happen. I thought both guys were faded. Both guys had some heavy losses over the years, and I thought, this fight had just dwindled away. But when it got announced last year, like a lot of people, I was like, is it really worth it? Both guys have seen better days. But tonight, both guys went in there and, they earned their money. They gave the fans a thrilling fight. It was intense. Both guys came out fast in the first round, both trying to land heavy level. But it was Kell BROOK and his power that was the deciding factor in this fight. Kell BROOK was hurting Amir with every clean shot he landed almost. Like Amir legs were gone after the first round. Like he was hurt badly at the end of the first round. And if Kell BROOK had like a minute left in the round instead of 10 seconds, I felt that he could have probably got the stoppage against Amir right there in the first round. But Amir rode it out. He rode out the next few rounds, Amir and he was landing decent shots himself. The hand speed, he still got fast hands, Amir not as fast as probably he used to be, but he still had hand speed that was, bothering Kell BROOK at time, that was, throwing Kell BROOK off in terms of getting his distance and finding his timing. And Kell BROOK was a little wild at times. He was loading up with shots, but, from about the 3rd, 4th round on, Kell BROOK took over and he was landing more at will, and Amir was getting broken down by Kell BROOK. He was hurt. His legs wasn't really there going into the 5th round, and Kell BROOK was piecing him up. And at the start of the 6th round, Kell BROOK landed a heavy jab that seemed to really wobble Amir and from there I just felt the writing was on the wall. I thought, Kell BROOK's either going to get a knockout here or he's going to stop Amir very soon, and that's what happened. He stopped him. The referee jumped in. He saw that Amir was taking a beating. He was in survival mode. He was just covering up, trying to ride out the storm, and the referee saw enough and he stopped the fight. And a lot of people are complaining about the stoppage, saying that, it was a bit too quick. Maybe let Amir try and recover, or, let him go out on his back. But, if a guy can be saved, just let him be saved. The guy's 35 years old. He's took some heavy knockouts over the years. And I know this fight was a grudge match and people wanted a definitive knockout ending, for this fight. But if a guy can be saved, then saving him. Amir he wasn't protesting the stoppage. He just looked at the referee like, yeah, okay, I'm finished. And that's what it was. He was finished. And he said after the fight that he just couldn't get going. And Kell BROOK boxed a great fight. And he said the better man won. He gave his props to Kell BROOK, no excuses. And Kell BROOK, obviously very ecstatic. He's happy now that this fight is done and that he can put it to bed and that he has this win on his record if he decides to bow out, after this fight tonight. But there are options for Kell BROOK. Maybe a Chris Eubank Jr. fight. For me, I don't really want to see that fight. I think that Chris Eubank Jr. is just a bit too big for Kell BROOK. And Kell BROOK, even though he looked okay tonight against Amir himself has seen better days, whereas Chris Eubank is a lot fresher. He's a lot sharper, he's a lot bigger, and I just don't see that being a good matchup for Kell BROOK personally. But, a correct matchup for Kell BROOK, maybe one last roll of the dice and then call it a day. Or, he's made millions and millions of pounds in his career, Kell BROOK, and especially tonight, he's made millions of pounds against Amir so why not ride out into the sunset like Carl Froch did when he beat George Groves in their grudge match and, call it a career, because he's got this win now, he's put this demon to bed, and he can say, what, I've had a good career, I finally got that big fight that I've always wanted, that's haunted me, and I can be at peace now. So yeah, both guys, they gave the fans the money's worth. Amir showed tremendous heart, even though he was getting pieced up and he was a bit out of his depth. In the end, Kell BROOK just looked like the better, bigger, stronger fighter in there, and he was just hurting Amir badly. And now I think Amir should just call it a day. Even though he hasn't fought in 2 years, he's always been, a guy who's had tremendous pride, a guy that, wants to go back out there and show that he is a top-level fighter. And he was a top-level fighter for so long. Amir had some great nights, and he'll go down as a British boxing legend. But, tonight he just couldn't ride out that storm against Kell BROOK, and he just couldn't get going, and he couldn't really get into the fight after he was hurt. So, yeah, good win by Kell BROOK, and this fight lived up to expectation. This fight, 10, 11 years in the making, it wasn't a flop. A lot of people felt that it could be a flop, it could be a snoozer, both guys are finished, but no, both guys decided to come out and fight, and it was a bit of a shootout at times, and, both guys were coming forward and trying to land heavy leather, and it was just Kell BROOK whose night it was tonight. So yeah, good win by Kell, BROOK. Comment below in the comment section. What did you guys think of this fight? I'm out.